This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Yesterday we had discussed about schedule orchestration, right? In the schedule orchestration, we have some action items, right? In one of the action item we had discussed that is nothing but SN activity. So in the SN activity, what all the functions are there, and so what is predefined functions and all the things we had discussed, right? So let's concentrate on different actions now today. So I'll be opening the same integration whatever I created yesterday, right? Schedule orchestration demo 2. So these integrations, I'll be opening one second. Uh, I'll be deleting these integrations. Okay, schedule orchestration demo 2. Yeah, I'll be opening this. I click on the schedule orchestration demo 2. Hi Siva. We just started the session. I think he's on mute. Okay, that's fine.
Hi Shrikant, Shiva here.
Hi Shiva. Yeah, we just started the session. Okay.
Okay,
So, so yesterday we had discussed about the SN activity, right? In the SN activity, what we can do, we can create the variables, and number of variables, and even you can assign the data to that particular variable, and even you can use the functions to assign the data and all the things, right? Yesterday we had discussed about, right? So let's create one assign activity, and I'll save it because and just like it will be assign internal variables. I will show you how to assign the data again. So, it will be a quick thing. So there is a plus symbol here. You need to click here. This is the recap to yesterday's session. So I'm going fast. So you can give some dummy name. Okay, and it is a string type variable, and you can click on this expression builder. So as I told you right yesterday, you can give some data. Hello. So you can give this data also, but you cannot give the spaces. But if you wanted to give spaces, you need to use the concatenate operation. So let's type the any function here. Like if you know any function, just type here concatenate. It just drag this function to here. Okay. Hello world. So you can write like this. S- extra bracket. Yeah. So you can concatenate the data in case if this expression is valid or not. Also you can check here. Validate. Click on validate. So it's valid, right? So let's say I'll remove one quotation. So okay. Now validate it. Expression is not valid. So I give an invalid expression inside of the expression builder. Okay. When I click on the validate button, so it will give the invalid expression is not valid. So you need to cut again. Yeah, you need to cut it again. So I have corrected this. Okay. Now go and click on the validate. Okay. So when you write something in the expression builder, so after that, like you can click on the validate whether this expression is validate or not. It will give you that. In case if it is invalid, then it will give you an error message so that you can come back and correct the expression in the expression builder. Okay, that's one of the option is there in assign activity. Yesterday we didn't discuss of this option, I guess. So this is the option validate. And Once it is completed, you need to close this button in order to complete your flow. So yesterday we didn't complete a successful variable, right? So you can see, right, the green color. Once assignment is completed to this variable, then you can see the completed expression as green, denoted with green color. Okay. Once it is done, again you can close this. Now you need to save this, otherwise if you close this thing, automatically you will be losing your changes. Yesterday we had created variables, but we lost it because we didn't save that integration yesterday. So that's the thing. I hope you clear with assign activity, rights. So, but in case if you, I mean, if you have any queries, just drop an email after our session. I will respond on that. And again, in case if you don't understand, also don't worry, because going forward we'll be working on like some of the integrations, right? So at the time, like we'll be using multiple times assign activity, so that you will get some understanding again. So invoke its turn actions. Yeah. In the function call, what is a function call? So function call is like it's a JavaScript library. It's a JavaScript library. Uh, yeah. As I told you, I mean, not initially. I think second session or third session, I told you, right? There is a concept is also there in ICS that we call. I mean, we will call the libraries. Like in case if any of the functions, if any of the existing functions is not supporting, then you can call the JavaScript libraries, right? JavaScript libraries, right? This is like you can build you can build these libraries outside, either in notepad or notepad plus. You can build these JavaScript libraries, and you can register these libraries into the ICS environment, and you can access the libraries using the function call. So before we discuss about the library, I mean function call, we'll have to talk about the libraries here. So the concept of library is, right? What is a library? Library is nothing but like it's like uh, I mean JavaScript. There is a JavaScript concept is there. So ICS is like supporting the JavaScript functions. Like in case if you're building any of the function JavaScript function .js file, if you're building any .js file at outside of the ICS environment, I mean you can build the JavaScript file at outside, and you can build some XYZ function inside of it, and you can import this library inside of this ICS. So let's say someone has already built some kind of existing library. This is like a predefined library. So I'll download this one, download to desktop. So library, I mean, you can build one JavaScript library outside of the ICS, and then you can import that JavaScript library. Okay, and after that you can use the JavaScript library. Why we are using the JavaScript library? So we have predefined functions is there in ICS. In SN activity we have seen concatenate function and addition of two members, some function. We have seen multiple functions, but why do we need JavaScript library? So sometimes, like in rare cases, like okay, some of the predefined functionality is not sufficient to fulfill your logic. Okay, at that time you need something to complete your flow. So at the time you can think about it, the libraries, JavaScript libraries, whatever the logic is there, right? The logic you can build in JavaScript library, and this JavaScript library you can call it in ICS. Why it's not opening? Something is wrong. Yeah. So you can see that this is the Java. This is one of the function. It's developed at, outside. There's nothing but it's like .js file. So JavaScript file we call it as a, like we will save it as .js. So you build some function inside of this, and we'll be calling this function instead of ICS. But as of now, you may ask like concatenate function is already there. Why they built? So this is for just testing purpose, like the demo purpose. Maybe they have created the concatenate thing. So maybe you can add some like different kind of functions. So just wanted to show the capability of the JavaScript library. That's it. Okay. So what it is, this JavaScript is doing that it's like if you're passing two parameters, if you're giving something like hello world, then it's like concatenating into the single message. That's it, and giving back the response. That's a concatenating of like two two variables data. So that is JavaScript. So how do we register the JavaScript library? And we'll talk it about later, not now. Okay.
Is that restricted only to JavaScript library, or do we can we include any other kind of libraries like PL SQL?
No. It's restricted only JavaScript. Right? As of now, it's supporting only JavaScript.
Okay.
JavaScript is a lightweight thing, and when you talk about the JavaScript, also it's like some other compilers are there, like JavaScript. It's supporting some extent only. It's not supporting like in high level. I mean, it's supporting like most of the things, but like when you come to picture like it's something is not supporting, then again you have to raise an SR. So they will check and fix that issue. Earlier, like we built some function in JavaScript, and it's kind of like the boolean variables. Like I'm just comparing, like I have compared a less than b in the JavaScript function. Okay, the boolean result, like if it is a less than b, then the boolean result should be like either true or false. Okay, and always in all cases, like if it's 3 less than 4, it's a true, right? And it's a 4, I mean 4 less than 3, it's a false, right? So in every case it was like giving a true only in every case. So after that I raised an SR. After that I came back saying that okay, as of now this is like there was a bug in ICS, so because of that, like it is giving some wrong result. So when after that, like they fixed that issue because of some compiler issue and all the things. Okay, because of the boolean variable issue, it was giving always I mean true.
Okay.
One second, let me. Okay, so that is a JavaScript function. How we can call JavaScript function and all, I mean how we can register JavaScript function and all the things. I will explain because we need to prepare one JavaScript library and all the things, right? So as of now, we have JavaScript library that is already imported by this demo, I mean, ISIS environment. Okay. So going forward, we will talk about the JavaScript library and how can we write the JavaScript library and all the things we can talk it about. So as of now, we will talk about so only like how can we call the JavaScript and all the things. So as of now, we have already JavaScript function that is already imported by ISIS environment, so that we are gonna use that function. Now the function call is there, right? This function call you have to drag either you no, based on your requirement. If you wanted to call here, you can call. I mean, if you wanted to call before assign activity, you can call here. You can drag here. Okay. Otherwise, if you wanted to call after assign activity, you can drag here. I wanted to call, okay, this function call after my assign activity. So I drag the function call after assign activity. Now this screen is like popped up. So like after that, like you have to give some name. Okay. So because I have given the name some dummy name JavaScript call, because this is like predefined conversion, right? So if you're like if you're like doing something like concatenate of it, you can give the concatenate the two variables. You can give like you can do like some meaningful name. So just for like we are not doing anything, right? Just for like testing purpose, like we are just giving some dummy name JavaScript call or something. Okay, so I given that, and if you wanted to give any description for this, and you can write some description here, and after that like you click on the create button. That's it. So this screen, yeah, the screen has opened now. After I click on the create button, the screen has opened. So in that, like you have, so here the top corner, so whatever the variable name you have given, right, whatever the name you have given, right, that will pop up here. Okay, inside there is a, like you can see it. If you wanted to import, I mean if you wanted to use any JavaScript library functions, so you need to click on the plus symbol here. Okay, the plus symbol. So if you click on the plus symbol, so there another screen will come. In this screen, so let's say if, I mean, as of now in this environment we have one library that has imported. Okay, that has imported. In case if you build some JavaScript functions, maybe it's kind of like 10 JavaScript files, like if you imported all these JavaScript things, like you can see here. As of now, we have only one JavaScript library, and it has only one function, that is concat message. So that is the reason it's showing only it's one function, and that is there in this library string util library. So in case if we have five function inside of this file, then we can see five functions here. Let's say if we have another file that's nothing but like I mean, if you have another file that is having uh, a different kind of functions, again those also will populate here in case we import that. Okay, we have given, I mean this library name is string util library, and this is the file it's having, the file concat.js. This JavaScript library is registered with this name string-util library, and in the string-util library, imported file is concat.js. That's what that those information you can find here. Okay, and what this function is doing, that this function is taking two parameters and returning the message. So that's it. So that's one thing. And if you wanted to type anything, like if you have like 100 functions, so in the time like finding that required function is like bit tough, right? So you can search the function, you can type the some, like you can start with like 2 digits or 3 digits, like you can type automatically the function, I mean some suggestion will pop up here, and click on that suggestion, and automatically the function will open. Okay, now let's say we have only one function, and now assume we are gonna use this function. Just like click on the select button. Yes, select a function is there, right? If you select that, this screen will open. Okay, so, so this screen has opened, and here you can see that expression library this one, and output parameter is this one, and these are all the input parameters for this function, the concatenate function. We There are two parameters in there, parameter 1, parameter 2. Those parameter 2 parameters has popped up here, and you need to pass the value, I mean you need to assign some value to these two variables. Okay, as of now we don't have any data at the left side corner, right? So that is the reason I'm just hot coding the values. In case if you have any variables, you need to drag here like this. Okay, as of now we don't have any variables, I mean we have demo variable one, I don't want to use that. If you have any variables, left side part, very variables are, if you like, if you have any request at left side, so you can use that. You can just drag like this, just drag that, and you can use that. Okay, I'm just, instead of doing that, I'm giving test one, validating, and closing that. So, and next parameter is 2. So if you wanted to give any data in the expression builder, we call it as a, whatever the box is there, right? This box we call it as a expression builder. Okay, in the expression builder, if you wanted to give any hard coded value, those hard coded values should be coded in a single quotes. Okay, so you can observe, right? So test2 value as like test2 value like is like surrounded with a single quoted value, single quotes. So validate it. In case if you are not giving the same quotes, then it will give you an error. After that, you need to correct it. Okay. Now we have given these two parameter values. Okay, when we are executing the flow. Okay, when we are executing the flow, it will give you the result as test1, test2. Combined result it will come. Okay, it's a validate. Then if you validate here, this function is successfully completed. It will show you that okay, it's this function call is valid and ready to use. Okay, so you got it right. What is JavaScript and how can we call that, right? What is the what is JavaScript library and how can we invoke the JavaScript library inside of our flow? You got it right. So as of now, we have only two variables. Two things as assigned. One is assign activity, another is JavaScript library. Sorry, JavaScript library call. And the map activity. The map activity I have already explained that yesterday. I mean, pre-class, before classes, right? So yesterday I discussed about the map activity, and even I think the last session, day before yesterday class also we had discussed about the map activity. The similar activity, the map activity is like you can do the transformation from source to target. Why we cannot use the map activity now is map is not allowed when there is no endpoint available to map. So as of now, we don't have any endpoints to call, right? When we don't have any endpoints to call means, so in case if you're configuring any invoke activity means yesterday I told you right here there are invoke activities. If there are any active connections, those active connections can use in this flow. Okay, when you drag any connection here, okay, those connection, those connection related invoke activity, automatically one map activity will be associated. Okay, so as of now we don't have any connection activity, that is the reason map activity is not coming. So but don't worry, because we're gonna discuss about map activity again. uh, we'll come back this map activity part later. So because we didn't configure any invoke activity, that is the reason map is there, map activity is not popped. So you can see there message map is not allowed when there is no endpoint available to map to. That's endpoint means when there is no connection, when there is no invoke activity here. Stage file. Stage file is like as of now I will tell about the stage file is like, okay, stage file, the overview is like stage file. What is the stage file? Stage file means it's a ICS internal ICS internal FTP location. ICS internal FTP location. You can say like there's a ICS VM is there like ICS saving a file at internal FTP server. That's only accessible by Oracle people. We don't have an access, but we have an access using the integrations. So this stage file concept only is applicable per integration model. It's not like if you copy the some file here into stage file and you cannot access the stage file in different integration. It's only specific to this integration. Okay, and but there are a lot of concepts are there in the stage file. But I told you right, if I wanted to start any stage, a concept on stage file, then I have to tell about the FTP integration. So FTP connection. So then only I can tell about the stage file, because without telling the FTP concept I cannot tell the stage file. Okay, so you cannot understand, you can understand the difference between what is like external FTP, internal FTP. So as of now, the internal FTP is nothing but stage file. Stage file is nothing but like you storing the data into the ICS internal location. ICS internal location that you can that can be accessed only the per integration model. Okay. These are the actions, and we need to talk about map activity as well stage file later sessions, not now. And the collections. Collections is nothing but like you have for each. So once you guys know about the for each in PL SQL program, right? The PL SQL program, let's say if you have like 20 records are there in the table, if you wanted to process one by one record, then you need to use the for each concept right there in the inside of the your store procedure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the same
loop.
concept. Yeah, the same concept. Like if the my XML is having a multiple complex types, let's say if the my XML is having like multiple, let's say if you're talking about order management, orders thing, like if my XML contains uh, if XML contains like multiple orders, 5 orders, 10 orders, okay. So order is nothing but complex elements. So if like, my XML is having like five multiple, I mean five complex types that is seems of similar type, then I go for each, so because I need to iterate each one, each order, right? So that's the reason I need to configure the for each, for like, you know, if you wanted to iterate for each thing, so you need to use that. Let's say in similar way, like in the PL SQL, like if I have a table, like the table contains like 15 records. Now for the each record, I have to do some logic inside of the my storage procedure. So for that, like you'll be fetching the data and storing to the cursor, and you'll be iterating that cursor right inside of the storage procedure, right? The similar by using the for each, the same concept, the for each like so in the XML we'll be having repeating element. Okay, the repeating element for each element. So you're iterating the process, and inside of the for each you're gonna build some logic. Okay. So as of now, I cannot tell the what is like how can we configure and all the things, because why I cannot tell this, I should have the repeating element, right? In order to configure this, we need to have a repeating element. Okay. So repeating element like I don't have any sample at this moment, but I will show you the sample maybe tomorrow, I guess. Okay, let's going forward. I will prepare one kind of demo thing and I'll show you that. Okay. So for each, we need to configure the name, description, and repeating element, and the current element name and the process items in parallel. So in order to configure that, so for our request should have the repeating element. So if you have any repeating element, then only we can configure that. Can I skip this for each? And I think I have to skip the for each. So I think now I will explain the later session when we are giving the demo session on this for each. Okay. As of now, for each is useful for iterating the records. If you have any loop, it's kind of looping. You can say looping. The for each is for the looping purpose. If you wanted to execute some kind of logic in repeating way for each record, so you have to go for each. That's the concept of for each. So how can we do that? The practical session will do that. Okay. The scope activity, the switch activity, one by activity. Mm. Scope activities means like I will be giving some dummy name. I'm not giving any description. Oh my god. It's getting expiring always. So you can see, right? I cannot do anything. So this is a locked draft. So yeah, the thing is like right, there are two options here will be pop up like when you're building integration. One is this type of draft version. I mean total four type of options you can see for the particular integration. One is this kind of symbol. Oh, one second, let me take the pointer. Yeah, one option is you can see, right, this is circular thing, draft version. This is like this integration not yet completed. As you have to complete something in order to in order to in order to change the status of this integration. Okay, this is one of the status for the integration. If you're building an integration, that integration is having total four status. One is draft version. You can see like if you didn't complete anything, the status will pop up is like here in the symbol, like it will pop up. If you configure something successfully, then integration, you can see, right, there is a radio button the radio button has popped up, right? So you can see this kind of symbol here. this symbol denotes like that you have completed the integration successfully, but this integration had to activate. Okay, this is not yet activated. Okay, this is one thing. The first thing is draft version, and the second is the configured, and we configured the connection. I mean, this integration is configured successfully. If you wanted to activate this integration, click on the radio button. That's it. Just tap on this button. Automatically it will change into this green color. I mean, after we enable the test with payload option and all the things, it will change into this color. So total 4 status are there. First, draft version and the configure state, and the green color denotes like this integration is successfully activated and ready to run the test data. Okay, and what is this status? What is the status? The status is like our browser has, like, our browser has session has expired, and it has closed in different way. It has closed it, right? And it will not allow you to edit this integration for some time. Like you can, like if you open this integration also, you can view that particular integration only. You cannot edit this integration. Okay, because it has locked. Why it has locked means my browser is closed. Our browser is closed automatically. I mean, because session has expired, and it has asked to log in again. So after I log in that, so I can see that this integration is locked. It is showing that someone is already working. So you need to wait for some time. So that's the reason, that's the message reason. Okay.
How long do we need to wait for this if it gets locked
Uh,
in these cases?
we need to wait for 30
Like till the
minutes, I
cache gets
guess. Yeah, we need to wait for 30 minutes, but we do have an
You can
option for
open
that.
Srikanth.
No, no, I know
Srikanth,
that.
you
I
can
know.
open.
No, I know that. I know that. So I just want to tell that because if you are admin, you can open that. If you're admin, you can unlock the session. Okay. So if you click on this, there is an option is there. Definitely there is an option is there, but only the admin can do that. Okay. Edit is not possible for
Correct.
schedule orchestration. Okay. You can see that if you can open this integration, but it's saying that edit is not possible. You cannot drag in any action here because it's like you can view this integration only. You cannot edit anything. Okay, because this
because of
integration is
schedule.
locked. Yeah, because because this integration is locked only. Okay, but we can, I mean, you don't need to wait for 30 minutes or 1 hour. There's an option concept is there, unlock option is there. Okay, unlock option is there. The drawback of this option is like, only the admin can do, and that is the benefit only. That's a not drawback, that's a benefit. Why it's benefit means, let's say if you have 5 members are there in your project. So okay, 5 members are working on different, I mean, working on like these integrations, right? If someone like you building some xyz integration, one of your colleague is building some demo to integration, let's say, by mistake, I mean, in case if you're giving this action, instead of like unlocking your service, if you're unlocking that particular guy service, automatically his changes will be changes will be lost. So all the changes, whatever the changes you're writing, right, in case if you're doing unlock option, automatically all the changes will be gone. So I have unlocked the integration. Okay, so unlock is very dangerous option because like in case if you're building, I mean if you build some integrations, I mean if you're doing some actions instead of your flowing up the integration. Okay, then the changes will, like, you cannot see those changes. Okay, and another thing is like, okay, let's say like one of your colleague is working on some xyz integration. So by mistake, while he's working, by mistake, if you unlock that integration, okay, I mean he's building that integration, like he's not, I mean he's not yet saved this flow. Okay, when you're unlocking this connection, when you're doing unlock, automatically he changes whatever the changes are, like he's writing, right? Those changes will like the changes like again the changes will be gone, and again he needs to write again. So that's like, if you're like
Only the
unlock,
sysadmin can lock or unlock the.
yes, only not system, like only the admin user, only the admin user. So like sometimes like you can say like in your project sometimes I mean you are like one of the architect or like is creating users, right, for you, right? For that like purpose, that when they're creating the users, they'll make you like as a, I mean, developer or something, some developer kind of role instead of like entire permissions. At the time, in case if the integration is locked also, you cannot see the unlock option. Okay, because why you cannot see the unlock option? Because you're not admin, you don't have any privileges. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's the reason for every step you need to save the you need to save the flow. In case if you build something like, it's kind of like if you build some kind of some complex logic, and if you didn't man, if you're not saving the flow, if something crashed the browser, automatically your changes will go on. That's one thing. And another thing is like if someone in XYZ is like working and they didn't save anything, by mistake someone means with not intentionally someone unlocked that integration, then definitely the changes will be gone, right? So this way. And the function call, I mean, earlier I had draw, I have used the function call and I given the parameter values and all the things, right? But again, I didn't save those changes. Now I have lost those changes. Okay. So let me talk the scope activity. Scope activity is nothing but, yeah. So scope is a container. Okay. You can perform some actions inside of this container. Okay. Whatever the actions you performed in this container, like this is a container, what we call it is like whatever the changes are, whatever the changes are, whatever the actions we're going to perform in this container, in this scope level. So this is only applicable to this and this scope only. The changes, whatever the changes, whatever the values like you have defined here, those things cannot be visible to outside of the scope. Okay, it's only up to whatever the actions you're performing inside of the flow, whatever the actions you are gonna perform on your request. Those actions will be there until the end of the scope only. Okay, after you come out of this block, you cannot you cannot see those changes here outside of the scope. So scope acts as a container. Why do we need a scope? So if you wanted to handle certain actions, certain error handling, like let's say if there is any error, then I have to handle that scope level. Then we will go for scope thing. Let's say what we call I'll be calling the DB activity. Okay. So for that particular DB, in case if I'm calling the DB connection, if there are any errors, then I have to send an email alert with customized error message. Then I have to go for scope activity, and I have like when I'm calling the DB activity, so those actions I have to. If you wanted to call any DB activity, I have to define those actions in the scope. Okay, and after that I have to build some function exception handling in the fault handler section. So what is exception handling and all the things we'll talk it about in different session, but not now. Okay, just we're talking about only the process. Scope thing. The scope is a container. So you can perform some actions inside of the scope, and even you can perform. You can handle the errors also at the scope level. Because if you are handling the any errors at scope level, okay, if any error happened, okay, automatically the entire flow will be terminated. In case if you are handling at the scope level, okay, whatever the flow you define after the scope activity, those flow will be executed in case if you are handling any fault handling at the scope level. Okay, in case if you're not handling any exception handling at the scope level, okay, then then our flow will get terminated. So I will tell you the example. So you'll not understand now, but I will tell you the example, like in real time, like in one of the indication, I will show you that what is the scope. And as of now, the overview, like the scope is nothing but uh, it's like it's a container. It's like what we call whatever the actions you're gonna perform inside of the scope, those actions will be there until the end of the scope only. Okay, and if you wanted to handle any of the error if any of the exceptions, those exceptions can be handled in the fault handler section. When you click on the fault handler section, and it will come like default handler or something. So when you click on the default handler, you can perform again some actions, like let's say some exception is occurred, like my DB, like when I call DB and something has happened. So how do you want to handle that particular error message? That's the question. So if you have any answer, then you can go for default handler. If there are any error, just send an email alert to the support team and execute my the rest of the flow. That's it. That's your business logic. You can go on the fault handler section, okay, and default handler, just s- just configure the email activity. And when there are any error inside of the scope activity, automatically email will be triggered to the support activity, and my flow will be executed at the after the scope activity. Okay, that's like your condition. That's if your requirement. Okay, if there are any if there are any errors, okay, inside of my flow, okay, my flow needs my flow need to terminate. Okay, so my flow should not execute the rest of the actions. In that case, should not configure the scope activity. Okay, scope activity only configured like if you wanted to execute rest of the actions, whatever the actions you're going to define after the scope activity. If you're defining any actions here, like if you wanted to execute after the scope activity, because after the error also, then you can use the scope activity. In case if there are any errors inside the flow, I wanted to terminate the entire flow, then you cannot define the scope activity. But there is a way also there in the scope activity, like there is a way, but the conceptual wise, if you wanted to terminate the entire flow, if there are any errors, I cannot assign the scope activity. If you wanted to perform some actions after the scope, after the particular error message also, if you wanted to execute some certain actions, then you need to go for scope activity. Okay, so that's the concept. And I think in case if we have any time, then we'll see the demo as well today, or else we'll talk about tomorrow. We'll talk about this section tomorrow. There's a scope thing. uh, so I have to talk about switch activity. For the switch activity, it's like, yeah, this is switch activity. So before talking about the switch activity, we need to talk about the conditional routing. Okay, what is a conditional routing? S- so conditional routing means, let's say based on my condition, I have to call certain flow. Let's say if, so right, if else conditions in the PL SQL program, and then the stored procedure, there are if conditions are there. If my employee salary is greater than if my employee salary greater than like maybe 5,000 pounds, then I have to do something. If my employee salary is greater than 10,000 pounds, I have to do some actions, some kind of performance. So if it's for less than 2,000 pounds, then again I have to do some different kind of actions, right? So this is like, it's kind of like, if 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 this is the condition, then do execute, then do this operation, else execute different kind of operation. So this is kind of conditional, like if this condition satisfies, execute this flow, otherwise execute different flow. So this option is already available. This option is already, I think, when you work on any programming language, Java, C or CPP, maybe PL SQL program. I mean, you don't need to know these programs, but like as you guys know, as you guys are from ERP background, and you must be familiar with the PL SQL program. That's the reason I'm just comparing that. In case if you don't know PL SQL, also you don't need to worry about. I'll be explaining clearly what is if condition and all the things. Okay, if like based on the condition, just what is switch activity? Switch activity nothing but a conditional routing. So what is a conditional routing? Based on the based on the condition, it will perform some actions. If this condition is not satisfies, will execute, this flow will execute different kind of operations. You're getting right? So if my condition satisfies, execute this flow, otherwise execute different flow. Okay, what is my condition is like it's kind of different based on your requirement. Let's say my requirement is like saying that okay, if any of the employees salary is greater than 10,000 pounds, okay, then perform then give give bonus, what we call give bonus 5% if salary is s- what we call salary is less than 5,000, then give bonus 10%. So if it's like, I mean, less than 10,000, maybe you can configure this in different way. Yeah. If any of the employees salary is greater than 10,000, I'm performing one action is give bonus 5%. If it is less than, then give bonus 10%. So this is kind of conditional thing, right? So based on the condition, I have to perform some logic. The giving the bonus is the one of the operation. Okay, that's kind of a action. If this happens, then do this action. If this happens, do this do this action. This kind of things are there, right? In case if it's for like there are another condition is there, right? If the employee salary is greater than 2,000 and salary is less than 5,000, then do some kind of action, give bonus. I mean, I'm just adding the conditions here. I mean, instead of like you can do like multiple actions, give bonus 15%. Maybe you can do kind of like some perform actions. Okay, this is called conditional routing. Okay, so if you wanted to add any such type of conditions, as of now I have added two conditions. You can add n number of conditions. Okay, uh, like you can add if salary is greater than equal to 20,000 pounds and salary is, I don't know the condition. I'm not getting any conditions. Some XYZ. Okay, if salary is equal to 20,000 pounds, then you do perform some action, different kind of action. So if we have total three conditions are there, do perform is highest salary, right? So perform give 0% bonus, 0%. This is for just conditions, right? I have given some dummy thing, so don't worry. So total we have three conditions are there. These three condition logic we can implement here in this switch activity. Okay. So if you want to, so how can we add this switch activity means you can click on this switch activity, drag on this activity. So drag on this activity, automatically this one will pop up. Now what's your requirement? So if this value is equals or greater than or less than equal to, if this satisfies, then execute this operation. If like okay, if what we call if one of the employees like traveling and if they wanted to book any hotel, just like if it is satisfies condition, it will execute the hotel related flow. If it is for different kind of link, if it is for airway ticket, it will go to different kind of flow. If it is for like cab thing, it will go to different kind of flow. That's kind of different conditions. So based on the condition, it will execute the flow. So as of now it's kind of this is if condition and this is else condition. As of now we have only if else. If this satisfies, execute. Otherwise, whatever the action you're going to define here, right, that we should execute. That's it. As of now we have two conditions only, but like if we have two more, if you have any like two more logics are there, like how can you do that? Just click on the plus symbol, automatically new action will come. One second, how to add this? Yeah, the plus symbol. Yeah, if and else if and otherwise. And if you wanted to add more conditions, then click on plus symbol. Yeah, this condition will come. So if you want, so this is called conditional routing. If this satisfies, execute this flow. If this satisfies, execute this flow. And if it is satisfies, execute this kind of flow. Okay. If all the three is not satisfied, then do some default operation that's called otherwise. Okay. So what we call in the PLS equal, if you're comparing, this is if condition, else if, and this is like else block. There's nothing but like if all the condition not satisfied, then go for like default thing otherwise. Okay. Definitely I'll be giving an example in the demo way in for all the actions, like okay, this is the way you need to do that for not all the actions, like the main important actions like scope activity, like how can we execute the Java call, I mean JavaScript call, and for each the switch. I'll give you a demo on that, like in the live example. Okay, don't worry. Okay, now how can I define the condition inside of this thing? Just double click on this. Okay, this will pop up. There is a view of this eye symbol is nothing but just viewing purpose. If you click on this, you cannot edit anything. Okay, and this is a edit option, so you can click on this to add the expression, and this is delete operation. Let's say you have defined total 4 conditions here. Okay, I wanted to remove one of the conditions, so I have to remove that one of the condition. I don't need to check that condition. You click on this, double click, and there is a pop-up, there will be a pop-up. When you select on this button, automatically this action will be deleted. So this if condition will be deleted. Okay, rest of the actions will be there. Okay, that's the thing. Click on edit. So in the click on the condition, let's say if the salary is greater, I mean if you have any condition like my salary is greater than 20,000 pounds, I need to perform this kind of action. This kind of action you can select based on the condition. You can do that. You can check that. So as of now, we don't have anything at left side, right? I'm using just dummy variable. It's a demo variable. So if it is greater than, I have total operations less greater than operation is there, greater than equal to option is there, less than equal to not equal to operation. This is not equal to operation. Total we have this kind of operations are there. Okay, I can give something like I mean I can give some conditions 27 30. I can give something I mean like just for like if it is pounds value I have to give something in the pounds. If it's for Indian currency I have to give Indian currency value and all the things. Like this is like just for condition like this. In this way we can do that. Okay, this is like a conditional approach. And if I wanted to give in different kind of way, I have to go for expression mode. Okay, you can write whatever the logic. If you wanted to give something logic, if you can write something in your war also, like using and operation. Okay, some kind of like you can give something. So you can give the condition like this also. So you can give the conditions, and even you can use the functions, whatever the functions are there, right? So those functions we can use here. Okay, and the expression name, how do you want to call the expression name? Okay, check compare. So I'm just giving this is case space is not allowed. Did not follow the naming rules. What is the naming rules? Yeah, so my expression is invalid because I have given wrong condition, I guess. This is wrong, right? Yeah, yeah. So this my expression is valid now. You can see red demo where greater than 30,000 demo. So this is like dummy expression, dummy expression. I have given that. So as of now, we have so many options are there. Any of is there, all of. So it's kind of like I have to give some live example in order to tell this. Okay. As of now, we can configure the flow like this, and you can see right. Earlier it was like a red color. Now it has like yellow color. No, yellow color denotes like you have successfully completed the edit expression, I mean condition, but you'll have to add some actions in order to execute. Let's say if this condition is satisfied, well, like if my condition is satisfies, then what do you want to do that? So okay, if this condition satisfies, then what do you want to do that? If you wanted to execute anything, if my condition satisfies, then you'll have to add some actions. Actions nothing but you can do SN activity, you can send an email, you can do like you can call some XYZ integration. You can do whatever you want in this action item based on the ICS features. Okay, if when it like if I can give the condition also in second expression, and I can perform some actions inside of this like in similar way this. So if my condition satisfies, what can I do that? Let's say simple thing. So will do. Yeah, you can see right, yellow color has gone right. So if my condition satisfies, I have to assign some value to one of the variable. Okay, that's part like what I am trying to do, that if my condition satisfies, I have to assign this condition. The similar way you can add the condition and you can assign the value, but don't worry, I will explain one flow later. So as of now, you're clear with conditional routing, how can you use the switch activity, right? So what is switch activity, and what is the purpose and all the things you're able to I mean you're able to like elaborate like what is switch activity, and how can we add the else if conditions, and how can we add the actions inside it. Hope hope you
Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
Yes, Shrikant.
Yeah, but don't worry, so I'll be explaining one flow like how can we, I mean, how can we do this kind of testing like switch action? Like, okay, how can we check whether this flow is executed, and how can we identify and all the things? Like, I will show you one demo. Okay, I will prepare one demo kind of like service, and I will show you that. Okay, the classroom. So this is one thing, and the next thing is scope and invite while activity. So as you know, right, for each is for the looping of the similar way the value is also for the looping. So this is like these both two actions I have to explain, I mean like practically only, not in like theoretical way I cannot explain. Theoretical way I can tell only saying that okay, the for each is for the purpose is for repeating the I mean for looping the repeating element, I can say whatever in the statement wise, it's kind of looping the repeating element. Let's say if you have like if I read a data from the database, I mean if I read a data from the database having 100 records. If I wanted to process each record, if for each record I have to send an for each record, let's say simple logic, I'll explain you that. Okay, I have 10 records are there. For each record, okay, I have to send an email. For each record I have to send an email to support team for each record. I know this is a it's like stupid scenario, but the thing is like I just wanted to tell uh, some understanding purpose. I'm just telling I have to read a data. I mean, once I read a data, total 10 records are there. For each record, I have to send an email to support team or configured email ID. Okay, I read a data. Okay, for this like okay, for each record, I need to configure for each to iterate looping of all 10 records for each record. Maybe like inside of the scope of for each, I'll be defining notification activity to send an email alert. So once I read a data, automatically this data will be, I mean, will be sending an email when you configure the notification notification action. Automatically email will be triggered. I mean, when you define some actions in the for each activity. Okay, the similar way like first record, second record, third record, all the records like email. I mean, for separate individually, email alert will be triggered. Okay, the for each is for the looping of all the repeating elements. When looping of the repeating elements and looping let's say if you have 10 records are there, these 10 records we can iterate these 10 records. Okay, that's the for each, but don't worry, I will explain you the flow. And while activity is also similar as like for each only. The simple logic, if you have 10 records in the DB, for each record I have to send an email alert to the configured email ID. So those kind of scenarios you can do that using the for each. And the logger activity. What is the log activity? The log activity is for like if you wanted to log any message. Okay, log any message means I call the database. Okay, a database has written one record. Okay, now this information I wanted to log. This information I wanted to log in the log. What is called? I wanted to ICS logs is there, right? If you wanted to log any information in the ICS logs, you need to configure the logger activity. So this logger activity, when you drag the logger activity, will you what kind of what kind of things you want to do that? Like just give the name it. Just like give some like meaningful name like log input data something. This is for like when you are like when you try to debug any information, when you try to debug anything inside of your flow, just you can use the log activity. Let's say if you want, like if you want to track any error message, if you want to track any variable data or anything, just use the logger activity to log that particular message. So I have given some dummy name log input data. So for this what do you want to log? Using this string you can using this string, whatever the string is there, right? Using this string you can search the message in the log. Once you download the log from the ICS console, extract the logs, open the ICS log file and control C, control this one, and search in the log file. Okay, and you can find this string, and for this particular string associated value you can find in the log. Like if you are assigning something, we're assigning something here like demo variable, like I wanted to log what is the demo variable contains. Like if my demo variable, I don't know why demo variable is like having value or not. I just want to track this demo variable. Like if you want, I wanted to track the internal variables, whatever the variables I created in the assign activity. So I wanted to track those value, I want to track those variables value. Okay, how can you do that? So using this log activity you can track the those error messages. Tracking means you wanted to try, you wanted to know like what kind of value is like storing it, whether this value is storing or not. So when you're debugging that, you can use the log activity. This is for the debugging purpose. Okay, save it. And option is like when I wanted to track demo variable one, like when I execute the flow, uh, this demo variable value will pop up in in the log file. Okay, so at what scenarios you wanted to log this value? There are two options are there always. That means like when you when your trace is disabled also, uh, this data will be logged into the log file. Okay, this log log input data will be logged into the log file. Because when trace is enabled means when you are activating the integration, when you are activating any integration, I told you right in the previous sessions, there is an option there is an option, right? Trace with payload or something, tracing enabled or disabled. There is an option, right? When you're active, when you're working on integration. Why it's not coming? Yeah, there is an option is there, right? When you're activating whether trace is enabled or not. If you are enable trace, then only you can see the message. When trace is enabled only, then you can see this message in the log activity. Okay. Maybe you may come back saying that okay, I have tried the log activity, but the log is not the data is not populating in the log file. So that means like when trace is enabled, so when trace is enabled only, just like you logging the information, that means like you need to activate the tracing. When you are activating the integration, you need to enable the tracing. Then only you can see the log message. Why do we not, why do we need the log activity? The log activity is for the like when you are like working some integration, when you are like building the integration, so you wanted to debug the integration, right? Like whether this integration like the flow is successful or not, you wanted to debug, right, this integration, right? So for that, at that time, like when you're developing time, at like if you wanted to log, so you can do this log input activity. And another thing is like actually in real time, we should not use this log data. So why do you want to log the, why do you want to log the production data in the log file? Again, that's like sensitive data information, right? So you don't need to I mean, you should not use the log activity until unless you have a requirement for the specific requirement saying that okay, and log the other message, log the message into the log file. So if you have any requirement, you use the log activity. Otherwise, just use the debug, just the log activity for the debugging purpose. And once you're done, just delete the activity like this. Okay. And the next action is note activity. I think it's not there in ICS. Even I like first time looking first time. I think they have added recently. In case if it's there in ICS, they have added recently. Last 18.3 version is not there. I think it's now 18.4 and maybe this they have added. So I don't know what is this. Maybe they have added recently, right? The note, the please give the mention. So I'll check and I'll let you know this note activity in case I don't know whether it's there in I mean ICS or not. If they had it recently, that could be there in 18.4 because 18.3 I have accessed recently. It's not there. Notification action. So the notification, like let's say you have a requirement saying that okay, I mean when there are any errors, like maybe if the flow is a success, you need to send an email alert to the some XYZ person, okay, specified person, or like if you wanted to send any email from the to the particular group, or if you wanted to send an email to some 10 people, you can do that in the notification activity. The notification activity is in for like sending an email alerts. Okay. So I'll be giving a demo for the notification activity and the log activity today only. I'll be giving the demo in the different service. So I'm not going to open this notification activity now. Okay. We have till we have 15 minutes time, right? So we will start on the notification activity log activity demo today. Let's complete the wait activity. So wait activity is for like if the flow like you call some service, some XYZ service, I mean you have invoked the service and you got a response back. After you get a response back, you wanted, if you wanted to wait for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, if you wanted to wait for I mean if you wanted to wait if you wanted to means if the integration needs to wait for 10 minutes in order to call an XYZ service, just use the wait activity. So let's say a simple example, I am invoking A service, and after that I also, after I get a response back, I'm invoking B service. After I get a response, I'm invoking C service. Now what will happen is after I execute the A, B steps, I have to wait at least 15 minutes in order to call C. Why do I need to wait means the AB I mean there is a requirement that, I mean maybe it's kind of like requirement after you insert the data into A and B systems, it will take some time to reflect in C system in our it's okay. So that's the reason in your flow you have to wait 15 minutes in order to access those data in C system. So that's like I mean if you have such requirement, like if you wanted to wait for some, I mean if like if you needs to wait for certain time period, okay, then you can build I mean you can use the wait activity in your integration flow. Okay. How can we do that? Is a simple action. It's like you don't need to worry about it. It's like using the just drag it and enter the name, hours, minutes, description. That's it. Done. The action is completed. The maximum wait time. Let's say it's allowing that the maximum wait time you can be like the your integration can wait only, I mean up to 6 hours only, up to 6 hours or less. That's it. More than that it cannot wait. Okay, that's the thing. And actions, another thing is like the last thing is error actions. Okay, sorry, not error, end actions. So this action is already there, right? So this is like when you creating the integration, if it is for scheduler integration, automatically it will come. So after executing all the action items, whatever the action items you define right inside your flow, at the end, what do you want to do that? If you wanted to send it, I mean, if you wanted to stop the flow, then just use the stop activity. This is the stop activity. You need to drag this one. Okay. So there are multiple purposes for this. There are multiple purposes are there that, but as of now, this activity is used to test to stop the flow. But how can we use this activity and all the things? In the conditional routing section also we can use this activity. So I'll explain that. I'll explain the demo later section. Okay. The raise error. So raise error concept you cannot use in anything. You cannot use this action at anywhere except in the scope activity. Except in the scope activity. Okay. So raise error means like if I mean this action will be used to send the error message to the global fault handling. Okay, I got error message. Okay, in the scope activity, what do you want to do? So if you wanted to send this error message to the top level global fault handling, you can use that activity. Okay, so this is the global fault handling. Using that activity, you can send the error message to this activity. Okay, so what is global fault and all the things, I'm not I didn't explain that, don't worry. So this exception handling is already there in our course content, and also I mean as of now, like I have to complete one successful flow in order to explain the global fault handling. Okay, otherwise there will be no useful, like I can complete the topic, but the thing is like you will not get any context on all this, why do we need this and all the things. Okay, the global fault handling is required only for, like, if you want, like, if there is any error in your flow, how do you want to handle and all the things, certain steps you need to define here. So at this moment, so you need to remember, like, there is an exception handling in ICS. If something goes wrong, then how do you want to handle the error message? That's your question. First of all, how do you want to handle the error message? That's the business logic. Okay, if the business logic is clear, then come to this global fault section and handle it. So my business logic is, if something goes wrong, don't do anything. Just send an email alert to the necessary person. Okay, I drag I can configure that functionality in the global file section. Okay, select and reposition on all the things, and I'll tell you later. Select is for repositioning, means just like repositioning the action items. Okay. So we have another. Uh, Let me explain the notification activity, and after that, I will end up the session.
So global fault is a different section as such, like where
Yes, different section.
does it log any errors or something?
Yes. Global fault is just like, it's the name sake, it's a global fault. But if you're executing some integration, okay, if you're executing any of the integration, if something goes wrong, like if you wanted to handle any error message, you can use the global fault handling. Okay, so as of now, like, just like global fault handling is for handling the exceptions. Okay, handling the exceptions. Let's say in the PL SQL program, if there is any error, then you're handling that particular error messages, right? Exception part, right? The same way there is an exception concept is there. That's nothing but global fault handling. Okay. Uh,
So it handles any unhandled exceptions.
no, I mean, it will not handle any unhandle. So the global fund, if you are not defining anything, it will not handle anything. Okay.
Okay.
That's like you have to add manually.
Okay.
Uh, so I just wanted to tell one thing, email alert. So after that, I can complete uh, the session notification. I mean, I have created one email alert service. I think I have already explained, right, how to create the integration, right? So I didn't spend much time on that, creating the integration. Okay. Created the schedule. I mean, I have created the scheduled orchestration. I have given the send email alert. Okay, the name is send email alert. So now this integration is open. Now the actions, in the action, what I wanted to show is notification. I wanted to send the email alert only. Oh, come on, yeah. So in the email alert action, send. Yeah, there is an options are there from email ID to email ID subject is there. Okay, there are two options is there. So I mean the first frame part is like who is sending the email ID. Okay, what do you want to give, that you can give two email ID, nothing but like if you wanted to send, like if you wanted to send an email to some XYZ person, you can you can you can give the email ID. Let's say like when you're composing an email in the Gmail, or like when you're composing email in Outlook, so you have an option from when you have an option two, or option is there, right? From is automatically by default your email ID, right? So from here, if you wanted to configure any email address from, you can give your email ID, or you can give the no reply.com or something. And if you wanted to send any persons, like in the compose email, like the new email section, you'll be having two section like comma separated thing, right? The similar way you can do that. And the subject, like in the email, when you're sending an email, like when you're sending an email, you'll be having subject like, okay, test data, like maybe it's kind of like ICS training, it's kind of subject, it's kind of body. In the like 1 second, let me open the email. You have compose option is there, right? This compose option, you have two email ID, you have subject, and you have body, right? In the body you can write something, right? The same way the body, whatever the content you're writing here, that will come, I mean whatever the content you're writing, right, that automatically this content will be displayed to the sender, I mean whatever to the receiver. This content will be delivered to the receiver. Okay, whatever the content you're writing. Subject line names, yes, you can give anything like, okay, ICS training, or maybe email alert from ICS, whatever that you can give that. Okay, and that's one thing. That's like when you're writing anything, when you're writing any email, like you can write some content, right? Maybe you can write some table, maybe you can write some tabular format also here, right? Some tabular format, and you can add the images as well, right? The similar way, there is an option, but like you cannot add any attachments here, but you can add some HTML kind of like content. HTML content means automatically the email will be displayed as a table. Email content will be displayed as a table. Okay, like let's say if you wanted to track any of the variable data, let's say earlier I have created some demo variable one, right? I tried to log the variable data into the notification activity, right? Instead of doing that, you can send log, I mean I tried to log the using the log action activity, right? Instead of doing that, you can log the variable data here also as well. Okay, I think we're running time out. I think we have 5 minutes. I think we cannot complete this. So I think I'll do one thing. So tomorrow I will explain about the notification activity. How can we send an email alert? How can we send the data? I mean, how can we log the? I mean, how can we view the variable data in the email and all the things? I will explain you that. It will take half an hour time. Okay, tomorrow I'll give you the demo on the email alert. And after that, like at the end of the session, not at the end, I mean at the end of our course content, I'll let you know like how to send an email alert like in HTML format. HTML format means like tabular format. Okay, the HTML format is also like we need to write HTML content to send an email alert. Okay, but it's too early to say to tell about HTML content. But I will let you know like at the end of our session course. Then I will let you know like how to write HTML and all the things. Okay, but tomorrow I'll let you know like how to send an email alert. Okay, and how to view the data from the variables and all the things. Tomorrow I'll explain. Tomorrow I'll continue this integration. Okay, and after that we will start the demo for the certain action. There are we have worked around the action items, right? Like assign activity, function call, and all the things, right? So tomorrow we'll work on one of the action items. We'll show you the demo on rest of the like few of the actions. Okay, any questions? So we are running time out, so that's what like I just wanted to skip this topic now, and we'll start this topic tomorrow.
Okay, Srikant. We'll continue
Okay.
Okay,
tomorrow.
Shrikant.
Okay, thank you. In case if you have any queries, just drop an email to me, so I'll respond to that. Okay. Siva, I hope I have gone to the previous sessions. I think you missed previous sessions, right?
Yeah, I went through Srikanth. Yeah, it's fine. I am following. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
following.
So, do you have any questions?
No, I'm okay for now. So once we start some real time thing, right? Then I may. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk. Yeah, we'll start. I think tomorrow onwards. I guess. Okay.
We start some integration questions will arise. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.